There you go. All right. There you go, Amy.
Okay. So the version that I put in the document is not that well phrased. So let me see if I can do it better through voice. I currently represent 4 groups: code review and source code, which are honestly your two sides of the same coin. Then editor, which is a beast unto itself, and the database team. Database is not a big deal. You may ignore them for this conversation. Their needs are simple for a tech writer. In the last retro for the editor team, I brought up concerns to them that I think they need to be some tech writers' main focus. And they're never going to be mine as long as I have code review and source code, because those 2 groups are a super jealous mistress, and you will take up 110% of my time if I let you. Realistically, I know I'm not tackling everything, Pedro, Annabelle, that you would like me to tackle. I'm not getting to backlog stuff. I'm not getting to a lot of rewrites behind the scenes, because these groups are busy from a tech writing perspective. Editor has picked up pages, and they are also picking up remote development in the very near future. When I was originally assigned this group, we thought their needs weren't that big. I think we made a mistake. I don't know if we can advocate for splitting editor off to another tech writer, but our next chance will be in December. We have two new tech writers coming on in the next 60 days, in addition to the 2 that we just hired. So we're actually getting closer to our supposed gearing ratio. I don't know how you all feel about this. I don't know if you feel like your needs are getting met, or if you look at the situation like me and say, yeah, we're doing all right, but I also see that we could be doing more if you had more of my time. If we want to try to advocate for another tech writer, we need to start talking to the tech writing managers. That's all. Because Pedro, worked with you long enough to know you alone can keep me busy full time. How do I know? You've already done it. And I have a feeling you will do it again in the future. I say that with a great deal of affection, mind you. We didn't know what the stage needed when I got here. We have a better idea now. The answer is a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. It's I would say that it's constantly changing, which on one hand is refreshing because it's not boring and you always have different things to work on and different topics, etc. But it can be stressful if it's not properly managed. Yeah. So thank you for raising this, and I assume that this would be the case, but I want to be clear that still, I think you're doing a great job, and I don't think to my knowledge, you've been missing out on any relevant commitments or priorities or things that I was expecting you to.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think the only cases where that has happened were, I think I brought them up to you personally.
Good.
Probably, and I can only remember probably one time that happened, and I didn't feel like, oh, Amy's not doing her job and I have to. No, I didn't feel like that at all. We're all so stretched thin, and I don't know, that's it feels like it's a little bit the GitLab philosophy. But so yeah, I don't think that's it. But yeah, I had two questions there. I don't know if you want to add more, if you want to respond to anything
Let's
before.
see. It matches your expectations. Okay, what can we do to help? What ammunition do we need? Okay, let me take the second question first because it's easier to answer than the first one.
Yeah.
Whenever we have a change in personnel or an overall change in headcount, that's when we do a rebalance. If we have people coming in, say within a month of each other, we'll typically pause one extra month. Like we just hired 2 writers a month apart. We're waiting until they're both onboarded, and then we're doing the rebalance for those 2. We have a writer coming in August and a writer coming in September, both in Europe, and we will do a rebalance in December to account for those 2 new people when they are fully onboarded. I don't know when we're going to get more headcount. That's why I say December may be our shot for this. Maybe. I believe we will rebalance. This is pure speculation on my part, whoever is listening. I believe we will rebalance Axel and Evan Reed first. There might be room to slot me in, but I don't know. However, I do know if my groups speak up, that always increases the chance.
Yeah.
As for ammunition, I'm working on that. I have a meeting with Marcel van Remmerden coming up because he's done some good stats for UX, and we just don't have that for tech writing. And that makes me twitchy because I came from a company that had really good stats. So we could see instantly who was overloaded, what they were overloaded on, which groups were problematic. I don't think our data is as good here. And I would like to work with Marcel to see if I can build something that gets me actual data instead of guessing, because I hate guessing.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably very reachable thing would be, I don't know how much, it doesn't of course represent all of your work, but looking at the number of merge requests that you approved for each group over the last milestones might be at least one data point. Or not. We don't have, what do you mean you don't have that?
Don't have that for tech. I mean, we could build it, but somebody's got to build it. That's the kind of data I want to work with Marcel to get. The tech writing team has been a little hesitant in the past to break down numbers per person like this. I disagree with that stance enough so that I'm willing to do my numbers first.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I get it. I would say it's a balance, right? It
is.
I don't think you should treat, quantitative data like that as this is the truth, but it can complement and be another thing to consider. Even us in UX, product designers, and Marcel was looking at product designers' workload and the number of merge request reviews that product designers did, and it doesn't paint the whole picture, because it also depends on how many merge requests the engineers put out, and it depends on the kind of work that the group does, so it doesn't say everything, but it is something that sometimes you can consider to make a decision.
Yes.
All right.
Cool.
Okay. And what does your manager say about all of this? If you can share it here. If not, that's okay.
that we don't know yet. She
Yes.
just finished getting the rebalance numbers ready for the current 2 tech writers. So she hasn't even started looking at the next one yet.
Okay.
But yeah. So any questions? Any? Come on, Ben, you gotta have something. Work with me here.
I mean, I sad to say I have very little insight into your actual day-to-day, but I do get the impression that you're very well. Yes, you're very busy, it seems like.
I'm good at triage.
That's an important skill to have.
Yeah. Just
But
don't ask.
if there's anything I can do to support your case or support you, let me know. I'm happy to.
Truthfully, I think you're already on it. You and all of you working on the merge request redesign proposal. That for me will be I go show this to my manager and say,
this will be a lot of work.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot. And I would rather us have this discussion before your project lands on me instead of after.
Yeah.
Because, I assume we're going to be doing other stuff while that's going on.
Exactly. It's not going to be the only thing.
No. And I recognize that I am a workaholic and a perfectionist, but I know when I'm not really hitting the 100% of a group's needs. I'd say I'm at about 80% of what code review and source code need. Most of what I'm not getting to is tech debt. I'm not just not even getting to it. Whereas editor, they're getting about half of what they need. And that's before their big projects start coming in.
Exactly. No,
so
it's gonna be big with
yeah.
editor, what they're planning. So
yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of work. Yeah. Let us know, keep us posted, and see how we can help. But yeah, thanks for raising this.
The best thing you can do right now is keep me abreast of the timelines for major projects like the merge request revamp, because I can use that as ammunition.
All right.
Cool. Anything else on fire? Annabelle? No? What's it like?
All right.
Anyone?
Anything else?
I'm good.
Cool. Still have a few minutes. I don't know if anyone has anything they want to share of what they're working on. If not, we're good to go.
I'll just quickly share that there's going to be another research planning issue for everyone. We do this
for the next quarter.
Last quarter was the first time we tried it. Off the record, I'm not a huge fan of it, but everybody has to do it, so we have to do it. Anyway, I'll be asking for upcoming research requests that you may have next week or two.
So. Yeah, out of curiosity, why aren't you a big fan of it? Let me rephrase my question. What would you do to make it better?
I'm not sure that I have a great answer for that. I don't know. It's just very prescriptive, and I just naturally rebel against processes like that. And so So we have this issue, right, for this quarter that's had all these things, and I have barely looked at it, right? It's just not how I work. I don't reference that, and it's not useful to me. So um, I don't know if that's my problem and I should be trying to utilize that more, or if there's a way I could make it work. I just don't feel like it's useful to you guys, or I mean, I don't think, since we set it up, you've looked at it. Maybe you have. I doubt it.
I looked at the planning issue for the current quarter when we were discussing just the priorities, and it was interesting to see other things you could be working on across Create. But I haven't looked back at it since, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's probably, this is not how I work. So it's not a big deal. We'll do it. I'm sure some good will come out of it, and move on back to our regularly scheduled programs.
Okay. All right, cool. Thanks for sharing that, Ben. Be looking out for that issue. Anything else anyone wants to share? All right.
I'll ask one question of you specifically, Pedro.
Yeah.
Do you know if there's a Lisbon meetup being planned?
Not yet. I have that on my task list since last week to create an issue for a I don't know what they're called nowadays, like get together or visiting rent or whatever it is, like create something. I don't know. But yeah, the plan is to, if everything else fails, it would be at least to have a small group of people meet in August. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the worst case scenario. I'm trying to create an issue to see if more people would like to join, et cetera, but nothing yet. Would you like to come? Is that on your bucket list?
You and Andre are both in Lisbon.
Yeah.
There are two people in this company that span two groups with me, and they're both in Lisbon. That causes me to ask questions. Am I interested? Yes. Do I think I could make it work? I don't know. Am I game for a travel stunt after being in this house for 3 years? Yes.
Makes sense.
So,
makes sense.
I think we're all a little crazy at this point.
when you asked, like, does this raise questions? I thought you were hinting at a possible conspiracy theory that
No.
we were concentrating certain resources in Lisbon.
No, it's just, I've been here 3 years almost. I have not met a single engineer or designer that I work with. Actually, I haven't met any of the tech writing team either. I don't really want to meet randos. I want to meet the people I work with.
Yeah.
I know that, sorry, I have feelings about this.
Oh, that's okay. I'll when I create an issue, I will ping you there for sure.
Thank you.
And see how that goes. As I said, I'm a bit confused at the moment because we have the get together where it's just you and another person, and then we have get-togethers for groups, and now we have this travel grant or something like that is also for groups, but it's larger, and I'm a bit confused by all of that.
Yeah, so are we all.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day is how many people want to get together, what's the budget then for this, and see how we go from there.
I agree. But yeah, I'm using my words and saying, I recognize that 2 of the people I work with most frequently are in Lisbon, and geographically, I should go to Vancouver. I don't work with anybody in Vancouver. Sad face. All right, go away. It's been good.
This is a great end of my day. You made me laugh. Thank you so much. And I'll go eat some snails now.
Okay.
Portuguese snails.
Take pictures.
Will do. Yeah. If you're interested, I'll share them.
Okay.
All right.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye-bye.